So today I'm going to talk about React through Fiber. So we all know, well, we don't know because I'm going to talk about it again, but there is, React is a very popular framework used in front-end development, and Three.js is very popular for any websites that want to show 3D models and games. So we're going to see what happens when we actually put these two together. So hello, my name is Paul. That's me there. So what we're going to ask is, are combining these two things a good idea? Is it just going to be a mess, or is it actually going to make sense? So is it just going to be our fly situation where it's just a disaster, or is it going to be something that we can see? So for anybody who's not familiar with Three.js, let's just cover a bit of this. It's probably one of the most common, if not the most common, JavaScript framework on the web. Anytime a company wants to represent real-time 3D on a browser. So it allows us to not just show a model, we can program it and make it interactive, and it makes use of WebGL. So your graphics card is sitting there that you're using for playing all your games, we can actually make use of it, and web browser as well, so it's not just sitting on your CPU, so we can leverage that. If you've got a computer with a nice graphics card in it, you'll hear the fan just start to kick off as soon as you go to the Three.js website. As I was saying, it's very widely used. Pretty much most of the websites you see with any 3D content are built with it. And the big question is it easy to use? And it is a bit daunting. I would argue that it's a bit finicky to use sometimes. If you're not familiar with it. It's like any library. You just jump in and it's got its quirks and its own way of doing things and stuff like that. And that's just for anyone who doesn't know about React. It's a component-based library. It's probably the most popular library that the merchant goes in web apps. Specifically single-page apps, and you can also use React Native to build mobile apps as well. So you don't have to, you can build for iOS and Android and anything else. It's declarative, it's like a high-level abstraction, so it makes it easier to dip into JavaScript and get things done much quicker. And it has a lot of conservative state management, which is how you store variables whenever they change and getting access to them again and getting easy to update. So hey, let's go bash these two things together and see what happens and what results in this React 3 Fiber. So React 3 Fiber is basically a React renderer for Three.js, so it allows you to use all that knowledge that you have of React and use it to build Three.js. And it uses React's state management to be able to maintain variable information, stuff like that. If you clicked on something, you've updated, you've moved data about it, you can do animations, all that sort of React. And the great thing about it is we can make use of React's ecosystem. So all those lovely libraries and stuff that we get with React, we can make use of here as well. It's very nice. And the great thing about it is it's fully Three.js compatible. And what I mean by that, it's basically it's everything you can do in Three.js, you can do with React 3 Fiber. And it's actually a really thin layer on top of Three.js. So there's very little loss in speed, none at all, compared. So it's not sitting there hacking into Three.js. It's actually a very thin layer on top of it. So it's quite good. So because it's only Lightning Talk, we're going to build a really boring greedy cave. So I'm going to compare the two of them here just to show you the difference. And I don't know if that code is very easy to watch or read, but I'm just going to show how you build this up. And I've got things I really like here. So you can see here you're pulling in your Three.js, and then you're pulling in, you need a renderer and then a scene to actually render. We're setting up a camera here, and it's got a couple of different properties, and we're setting width and height and all this sort of malarkey. And here's our cube. That's all you use to set up the cube. So we're giving it a 1 by 1 by 1 unit dimension. So and then we're giving it a color. You've got this kind of funkiness that you don't really see in front-end development. You've got that 0x, and then it's the hex value. And then you get this animation loop. So anybody that's familiar with the game engine, it usually has an animation loop. So that's basically your frames per second kind of thing. So you can see this one is called animate, and then inside animate it actually calls itself like a game kind of thing. So and then we're actually, for every frame, we're augmented by 0.01. So this will allow the rotation to occur. So we're making it rotate on the X and making it rotate on the Y. And then we render it. We pass the scene and the camera in. And then down here, we're setting the size of the window, we're adding cadence, and then now when you add the camera goes into the center of the scene, so we'd actually be inside the cube, so we need to like stand back a bit, so we have to pull it back on the Z-axis by 5 units. And then finally we kick things off here. And then we attach that to the DOM. So in my HTML file, I have a div with an ID of app, and it's just grabbing that and injecting our render into it. So let's compare that with React 3 Fiber. So up here we've got React, there's React, and we've got some special things that come in from Canvas and UseFrame. So we've got 2 things coming from React 3 Fiber, it's Canvas and UseFrame. So here we've got our box, so it's kind of similar to what we got over here. This guy here, well, I call it Q, I should have called that box, but we need to make a reference to that box. We need to hold on to let React 3 Fiber know this is my specific box. And we're doing the exact same thing here. So we've got this use frame. Now, use frame, if anybody's, like I was saying before, anybody's familiar with a gaming engine or something like that, we've got a loop, so it's like, as I was saying before, your frame per second. And we're doing the same thing here as we're doing here. So we're rotating it by 0.01 on the X and the Y. And then we're pumping out our mesh, and here we're referring to Y mesh up here. And again, we're giving that a dimension of 1 by 1 by 1. And we're giving it a color. And you can see this is like standard use of color, what we see in HTML, so it's like a hash, whatever. It hasn't got this weird 0x that you see in other things. And then close off your mesh. Now, you'll notice a weird thing that most React components have a naming convention is an uppercase first letter. Like Fox here is going to be referred to as lowercase b, app is my component here as lowercase. The ones that come directly from Three.js have a lowercase one. That's how you know that is a one-to-one match with Three.js component or bit of code. And basically, that thing I was talking about is like a very thin layer, and it's almost like automated. They grab the 3DS version and pull out like React 3 Fiber version. That's a one-to-one. And anytime you see args, in Three.js you normally have bracket and then curly brace, and you pass in your props. Whenever you get a situation where you've got arguments that are just passed in, X, Y, Z, or whatever, and it's not got a prop necessarily associated with it. React 3 Fiber deals with this by having a specific prop called args, and we just pass them in as an array, like you pass in a non, like a function that instead of taking an object's properties, it just takes a series of arguments. And then we get down to the app here, and all that's doing is we're just going to equip the styling, so we've got the height and width of the area. And we've got the canvas, and we insert our box here, away we go. It's just, that's it, we're flying. So you can see, like, I feel that's a lot cleaner. And because I work with Reacts on a daily basis, to me this like reads kind of quite nice. And yes, you can get stuck in and it's a new thing to learn here, but it's got its own kind of funkiness, whereas here I'm like, hey, I'm kind of won the battle half already, I know what I'm doing, and I can dip into the exact same stuff I can see here. So here's a bit more complex example. It's doing a wee bit more. So we've defined our box up here, but hey, it's a component and I can use it twice down here. Like, and I'm passing in different parameters here. It's got slightly, there's actually 2 boxes in the scene in this case, and they're just sitting right beside each other. One's a bit to the left and one a bit to the right. And then we can do hover events and then click events and stuff like that. So and we can pass stuff in and we can pass our props in and spread them in. We get all this lovely stuff you actually get with React coming in. And like this, and then you can swap in and out here. We've got a turn going on here. If it's hovered over, it goes a nice dot pink, whatever choice that was made, or orange. And then it's the same thing again. In this case, we're actually putting in extra spotlights, so it's just not that boring green cube. It's actually got an extra few bits of styles on it. And the greatest thing about it, you got 3 dry JS, which is a helper situation where you can basically have pre-built in things that rotate around the screen, so you don't have to code that separately. You can like spin it. You can a lot more interaction. Camera is already set up for you and all that sort of stuff. So React 3, you can see here, it's got shaders, and it's got predefined default shapes, so you don't have to like pull in your own stuff. There's how you pull it in. And I'm just going to quickly go through this. As you're familiar with React, you're flying. As the code gets bigger, you have to write way less code. I know those two are very similar, but that was a very simple example. You can get through your project a lot quicker. It's a lot more maintainable. Instead of composed with Three.js, which is German for 3. So that's some of theirs having that. And then you got a render loop, which is more easier to maintain than the one that they had in natural 3.js. And so it's therefore easy to use if you know React. So here's a few resources. There's 3Fiber, 3js.org, React. There's the dry one. Blender 3D. If you want you can actually import your own models and export them in a very open source format, and you can pull them in. And then you go in, as you saw Neil's talk there earlier, he did a really good one with A-Frame, and which is another flavor instead of 3js. And created a really nice nightmare kind of game with it. And yeah, so I reckon we can conquer 3js. It's a lot easier to use. So I can actually just show you a demo of what you're just doing. Just kind of load. Yeah. There's your vanilla one in 3js. And here's your one in React. And here's that more complicated one, so you can see you already get your hot pink and click on it and it jumps out. All sorts of stuff. That's an example here of a bit more complicated. Yeah, you got those demos and stuff you can go onto the website. And there's a great guy called Bruno Simon. He's a French guy, and he's got the best website ever. He has this is his website, and he's got physics and everything. And I can do movies. Isn't that great? And there's like I say, there's lots of demos here. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Any questions? Here's an example scene here, and that's all built in React 3.5. If you that guy's Bruno Simon, he's created a React 3.js, not React. He's like basically 3.js pure, but he's created a really good treatment series. If you're interested in that. But yeah, that's pretty much me. Thank you very much.